Hello learners, in this lecture we are going to learn about regression analysis. Regression analysis in general sense is concerned with the estimation or prediction of the unknown value of one variable when the value of other variable is known. The term regression was first used by British biometrician Sir Francis Galton while studying the relationship between the height of fathers and sons. While correlation shows strength and direction of linear relationship between variables, regression provides equations, models, and predictions. Regression analysis is one of the most important statistical tools which is extensively used in almost all sciences. Correlation versus regression. In correlation analysis, we consider two variables symmetrically. This means we can interchange between variables. But in regression analysis, there is an asymmetry in the way dependent and independent variables are treated. Here the dependent variable is random and independent variable is fixed and cannot be interchanged. Correlation can't tell us the amount of change in one variable to a unit change in other variable and hence can't predict future values. Besides, regression tells us the amount of change in the dependent variable to a unit change in the independent variable, and it can also predict future values. There may be nonsense relation in correlation, but there is no such relation in regression. Correlation is not very useful for further mathematical treatment. On the other hand, regression is widely used for further mathematical treatment. Correlation analysis indicates only linear relationship between variables, but regression indicates any type of relationship. So first consider the relationship between height and weight. So if I draw the scatter diagram of height and weight, what will this look like? So I am putting height in the x-axis and weight in the y-axis. After putting several values, I will get a graph like this. So this is not an accurate graph. I have just showing you a vague idea of the relationship between height and weight. So what can we see from this graph? From this graph, we can see there is a strong positive correlation between height and weight. Now, if we want to model this relationship or fit a line like this, we need to express the relationship between height and weight in terms of an equation. Or, if we want to predict weight for some height, we need a mathematical relationship. And this mathematical relationship between these variables height and weight is termed as regression analysis. So, while in correlation analysis we see the linear association between the variables, in regression analysis we model this relationship between variables. So this is the motivation of regression analysis. Regression analysis is a mathematical measure of the relationship between one dependent variable with one or more independent variables in terms of the original units of the data which can predict about the future values. According to a scholar M. Blair, regression is the measure of the average relationship between two or more variables in terms of the original units of the data. Regression is used to denote estimation or prediction of the average value of one variable for a specified value of the other variable. Regression expresses the relationship in the form of an equation. In regression analysis, there are two types of variables. One is dependent variable and another one is independent variable. Dependent variable is the variable whose value is influenced or is to be predicted, and the variable whose which influences the values or is used for prediction is called independent variable. Dependent variable is also known as regressed variable, explained variable, response variable, or endogenous variable. On the other hand, independent variable is also known as regressor, predictor, explanatory variable, and exogenous variable. So now look forward the types of regression. Simple regression involves only two variables. Multiple regression involves more than two variables. Linear regression is if the regression curve is a straight line, then there is a linear regression between the variables. Regression curve is a smooth curve which fitted to the set of paired data in regression analysis. This means regression curve is the graph of the regression equation. If the regression curve is not a straight line, then there is a non-linear or curvilinear regression between the variables. Now, what are the advantages of regression analysis? Regression analysis estimates the relationship that exists on the average between the dependent variable and the independent variables. Regression analysis shows the nature of relationship between two or more variables. Regression analysis also determines the effect of each of the explanatory variables on the dependent variable, controlling the effects of all other explanatory variables. Regression analysis predicts the value of dependent variable for a given value of the independent variable.